Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Couples Academy show. My name is Hasani.
I'm Danny.
And we are here. It is the month of March. We're excited because we're in yet a new month, a new season, and we are continuing in what we started in the month of February, which is the love series. We had a good start, and then we had a brief interruption because, unfortunately, we got COVID and that knocked us out for about 2 weeks. And so what we want to do is pick up the pieces where we left off because there's so much to unpack when it comes to this conversation.
Agreed. And sometimes these things happen, right? So when you have a pause and it's unexpected, sometimes you just fall off the wagon, but you got to get back up on the wagon and keep it rolling. So these things happen in your relationship too, right? Sometimes you have a good stride going and you're doing all the things and then you just stop. So this is our attempt to get us all back on the wagon and moving forward. We started out strong too.
It was super duper strong.
We started out strong, doing all the things and sharing it with you and everything else. I hope you guys did continue, but if you didn't, here's your wake-up call. Let's get it.
And that's the whole thing about a challenge, right? Challenges are not just about completing it. You want to complete it, but you grow in that process and you realize that there's opposition, there's resistance, there's things beyond your control. But do you just quit, give up, throw in the towel?
Right, hence the term challenge.
Exactly.
It was challenging to complete the challenge.
And when things come against you, you got to be willing to say, all right, the challenge that I'm facing is helping me to understand the purpose of this challenge. So we're going to pick it back up and keep going. So if you have not registered for the 28-day love challenge, the link in the description, you want to click on that because you want to join us in this experience. And for the next couple of weeks, we're going to be unpacking 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 1 through 7 on love. But before we get started,
make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. And also, share with a couple of your friends. Let them know that this show is on and that if you are married and you're wanting to take your marriage to the next level, this is the place to be.
Also, we have an upcoming Last Chance Weekend, March 7th through the 9th. Make sure you register for that. We're excited to work with you as you take your relationship to the next level. Realizing that the love was lost, it's time to get it back because we say this all the time. People get married because they fall in love, but people who divorce every day, they love each other, but they realize that love wasn't enough, or maybe their understanding of love was not enough. And so that's why we're doing this series. So let's dive right in. We're talking about love. Listen, this is a scripture that you're all familiar with. Let's break this down. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It's not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. So this is 16 different attributes of love in terms of what you should do and what you should not do. And we're going to spend the next 16 days unpacking this in depth so you know how to walk this out in your relationship.
Can we just call the elephant in the room? Love is sounding like a very tall order. Love is sounding like a mountain that you need to climb with no gear attached. You know what I mean? It's risky. It's a major challenge. There are pitfalls along the way. That list, that is serious. And so that's why it's important to break down love, because I think that, we're caught up in the feeling of love and actually we're thinking that love is liking a person. When we stop liking you, we think we don't love you anymore. And sometimes that's true for you, but true love has all of these powerful components that keep you locked in regardless.
And that's why we need to talk about this first portion, this first characteristic, and it's patience. Because listen, to your point, in the beginning it was ludus love, it was eros love, it was all the wonderful feeling type of love. But once you get into a relationship and you get settled in and normalcy takes place, and guess what? You're seeing everything, the good, the bad, the ugly. You're seeing through the cracks of your partner. It's going to require a level of patience to get through situations that you never thought that you would have to deal with.
I'm going to do a Hasani.
What does that mean?
Patience. Patience.
What is that supposed to mean? I don't know what that means. But yeah, you need patience, right? You need all types of patience. And it's critically important that we understand what it is, because Danielle, the fact is we live in a very microwave society, and everybody wants what they want when? Now.
Yeah. Not yesteryear, but right now.
Right now.
In other words, I need you to love me right. I need you to understand my love languages right now. I need you to practice them all simultaneously. I need you to, offer up the covering of a multitude of sins while you're still broken and jacked up and ain't acting right. Like, the levels of this is so insane. This is why one of the main things that we talk about is really focusing on yourself, because that is like your armor. If you can focus on yourself, it actually blocks out the foolishness of other people. Because if somebody is demanding change and certain action in you right now, microwave fast now, zero patience to wait on your personal development, right? No focus on their personal development, you're gonna have a disaster. And Hassan and I were talking about this a minute ago about what happens if you put like a chicken in the microwave. Like, I don't know. Please tell me nobody has tried this. If you have tried this,
like a raw chicken?
A whole raw chicken in a microwave is going to be a disaster. First of all, because there's no way it's going to warm up or cook evenly. So you're going to have explosions happening inside of that microwave. You're going to have parts of the chicken blown up and some of it still bleeding. And it's just going to be a mess because certain things take time. And so then we were talking about the crock pot, right? You take that same chicken and you put it in the crock pot, and that thing is going to cook a little bit slower. And you know what? It's even going to get browned and crispy in some parts, right? Unlike a microwave where you're going to have gumpy, gooey, disgusting mess. And so it's important to have patience in your relationship, because you just don't want a mess. You don't want things blowing up here. You don't want things bleeding over there. You don't want things overcooked over here.
What a visual.
Right? Like, that's a great visual for what happens when we're rushing anything.
That's an excellent point, because, man, I never thought about that. Just seeing that just sounds disgusting. And that's what we want. We want results right now. And you can want the right thing, but at the wrong time, and it not give you what you thought it would be.
And just not give your partner the space to develop. Like, developing takes time. It just does, you know? The perfect development. Here's another analogy: getting your hair dyed. A lot of women understand what that looks like. You know, the color has to develop. And if you rinse it out too soon, you're gonna look like a skunk, blotches and go. If you leave it on too long, your hair's gonna fall out. So things that are worth anything take time to develop, and sometimes because we're caught up in our own traumas and our own brokenness and how we're feeling about things, we don't give another person the space to develop and grow. And that's why it's important to focus on yourself.
So now we deal with couples who obviously have gone through some type of traumatic experience in their relationship. They're on the verge of divorce. They're questioning whether they want to stay or they want to go. There's been infidelity. And in that process, we tell people all the time, please do not rush and make a decision. Matter of fact, the best decision that you can make if you're vacillating between staying or going is to make no decision at all, because any decision you make in your emotions is a decision that you will regret. And oftentimes people operate in such haste. They're so compulsive. They're so right now. They're so like, okay. And they wind up destroying everything when they operate too quickly. And so what we've learned is that there's three aspects or components you really need to develop patience. And number one, if you're in some type of season of your life and relationship that is difficult, like you're going through an affair recovery process, you need patience with that situation, because there is a process. And in this process, one step leads to the next, which leads to the next. And it's interesting, a lot of times when people come to us for counseling, they want to tell us, it's almost like they're ordering something off of a menu through a drive-through in fast food. Yeah, I'll take this and I'll take that. And it's just like, well, hold on. I know you want that, but you can't have that unless we first do this. There's an order and a sequence and a process to things. And I know we want to get straight to forgiveness and straight to trust, but there are some foundational things that we need to establish in the beginning to get to that place. And wanting it too soon, it's almost like I want it now. Okay, well, here you go. Did that work for you? No, it didn't work. Okay, so we need to build foundation.
Yeah, you want it now, but do you want like a quick fix that isn't sustainable? You know, and I think a lot of people do try that and think that at first, I got it. We're gonna be so better. It's gonna be great. And then they don't realize that they have to go home and be faced with their challenges. You know, the challenges of themselves, that they haven't actually been proofed.
Right.
And they haven't gone through a process. The challenges of their environment, right, and the challenges of the triggers that happen between the couple. And so, yeah, you want it now, but you need to go through the process, just like you go through the process for every single thing else in your life that matters. You need to do that as it relates to your relationship and love.
It kind of reminds me of a couple who actually would watch us for years. And they said, you know what, we're going to go away to a cabin and we're going to go through our own recovery process. And they were picking videos to watch. They read a book and did what they did. And they realized, man, this isn't really working. We didn't get what we were hoping to get. And then they came to an intensive and actually did the intensive and were just like, oh my God. First of all, we did things out of order. Second of all, there were huge lumps and gaps that were missing in our process that we didn't even know existed. And so there's something to understanding what the process is and enduring it in the meantime to get to the place that you ultimately want to get to. The second thing, Danielle, in terms of patience, you got to have patience for the person that you're in a relationship with. Because that person may have their own communication style. That person may have habits or idiosyncrasies or ways of being that can become easily frustrating. And in the beginning of the relationship, it was just like, ooh, you were so in love and they could do no wrong. And then all of a sudden you start seeing the reality
they might
of
have
who
been,
they are.
Well, they could have been hiding that.
True.
They're hiding the foot with the crooked toe and the bunion and putting the best foot forward. And all you seeing is the best foot. And then later on, the scales come off. So that's a reality, right? That we're not actually always seeing the whole picture. Sometimes it does take developing.
It does.
You know, and being in the environment, because we all have a cause and effect. So, you know, it's one thing to date a person, but then when you're actually together living with someone, committed to someone, there's a cause and effect of each person. My behaviors, my idiosyncrasies, my issues causes an effect in you and a response in you, and it's vice versa. So we have to take all those things into account when we talk about developing patience. And let me not quote this person, but there was a famous minister out here who said something about how when couples come together, it's like sandpaper, rough sandpaper, and you're rubbing up against each other so much that you both become smooth as a result. So you're bringing all your rough edges to each other, into this relationship, and trust and believe in the process, you're going to smooth each other out if you operate with some patience.
Wow, that's powerful. And it's true. I could see that being the reality. So patience with your partner for sure. And then number 3, patience with God, because you're waiting for an answer and you're praying diligently and you're seeking his face and you want to hear from him and you're not hearing what you think you should hear. And it's just like God. And we get mad at God and frustrated with God. And we want things in our timing, not understanding that God has his own perfect timing. And so all these things are critically important if you're truly going to develop patience. Patience is not a feeling, right? It's a behavior. It is something that you demonstrate. We're talking about the 16 components of love. We're starting with patience. Listen, guys, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. We'll be right back and we'll go a little bit deeper on this topic.
Hi, my name is Gilberto Kennedy. I'm from Columbia, South Carolina, and as a 20-year veteran, just retired from the military, I've experienced a lot of things. Been through a lot, had to do a lot, and nothing could prepare me for what I had in store here at Couples Academy. I was brought down to my lowest by design, and then I was also brought up as well. And some of the things that took place here, I don't even think words can do the proper service to it. It's something that you definitely have to experience for yourself. But if you're in a position where your marriage is literally on a string, then this is a place where you need to be. There was no hope for my marriage. I was separated from the home, away from my kids. And it really felt like I was, co-parenting from a distance, even though we was only 5 miles away. And being here, one of the first things my wife said to me after day 2 is, "I want you back home." And that was far away from where we were before we got here. So if you truly value the covenant that you have within your household, and you truly want to experience what it means to truly know who you are as an individual to better know your spouse, then Couple Academy is the place where you need to be.
This is why we do what we do, guys, for testimonials like this. See, this makes the difference. People come from a place of desperation and hopelessness and disbelief, and then we take them through a process and they're able to get to this place. I mean, this couple, they were done, Danielle. And that's what we find a lot of these couples, they are done, but something gets them here. Like, as much fear and doubt and trepidation as they have, there's something still there that says, let's give this thing a chance.
Yeah. I think people just don't know what to do. That's it. He mentioned, like, my marriage was on a thread. Like, you just don't know what to do to get back to where you were. And so you call it quits, because guess what? Everybody else does, over 50%. What are we at now with divorce rate?
It's like 55%.
I mean, 55%
That's
of the people
high...
just call it quits. So this is obviously what we need to do. We are part of the 50%, 55%. And so they don't know what to do, but something in them drives them to give it one last chance. And they discover there's a whole world of information, knowledge, awareness, and practices and tools and things that you can be doing and should have been doing from the very beginning that you can now learn and implement in your marriage and turn everything around. So,
and let me just encourage you, like, this is not child's work. This is work. It's hard work.
It's not child's play?
It's not child's play.
No.
It's work. And listen, it's a battle, and you're going to have to fight. Yeah. And in this journey to get back to a healthy relationship with your spouse, it's going to be work. And it kind of reminds me of people who, like, box, right? You have these 3-minute rounds, and then you take a break in between each round because you need to sit down, you need to get some water, you need to be coached by your coach, your trainer, and then you get back in that fight and you keep fighting. And if you don't have endurance and stamina, you will never get through it. You figure that there's 8, 10, 12 rounds in a boxing match. And I'm not talking about fighting your spouse. That's what you were doing before you came to get the help. I'm talking about fighting with each other and fighting against all the things within yourself, fighting against all of the circumstantial things that have brought you to a negative place. And so it is a battle. And it kind of reminds me of what Gandhi said. He said, to lose patience is to lose the battle. And I think that most people give up, cave in, quit, throw in the towel because they're not seeing results happen quick enough, and they give up all hope in the possibility of what can be.
Wonderful. Wonderfully stated.
So I want to give you a couple definitions of patience. We want to look at it from different perspectives. So a general definition, as you can see here, is the ability to endure difficult circumstances, delay, or frustration without becoming upset or anxious. That's a tall order.
That sounds like some serious emotional intelligence.
Yes.
That sounds like implementing some self-control and putting some parameters in place. That sounds like understanding the rules of engagement that people don't know. When they come here, we have to help them understand this is how you do this. This is how you walk away from a fight. You don't walk away from a fight with an attitude. As the girls say, shut somebody down and then walk off angry. Like, they have this whole analogy. No, you don't do that. No, there's a process. There are rules that you both agree to so that when you come to these impasses in the road, which you will, you know what to do, and you can actually step into a powerful place and instead of a weak place, because actually losing your patience, it makes you weak. Like you've lost the fight, you've lost the battle, you lost your patience, right? And so you know that when you go from green on the meter to red, there's no controlling you, there's no, nobody knows what you're gonna say, how you're gonna react, you're in the red. You don't even remember how you behave. And so you wanna do all that you can to keep from ending up there.
Let's look at the psychological definition, okay? A state of calm and tolerance, allowing a person to control their emotional reactions when faced with setbacks or challenges, especially when things take longer than expected. Think about it. Like at the end of the day, how long is this thing going to take? And see, what happens is people ask the question, how many sessions do I have to do? How long is it going to take for my spouse to get back to order? How long before they're normal again? And I think that we race through the process and don't realize that you can't control your spouse's recovery process.
And focus on the other person. Like, how long is it going to take to fix my spouse? Like, how about you?
Right.
How long is it going to take to fix you? That's the real question. Right? When you have that level of control and authority over yourself, the landscape of your life literally shifts, right? Now you're not part of the responsibility in the negative interactions that are taking place in the relationship in the first place.
But it's a state of calm and tolerance, which is what you have to have, whatever your situation may be. Now, check this out. This is a philosophical definition. It is a virtue that involves accepting circumstances beyond one's control and understanding that certain things in life unfold in their own time. Now, that is think about a person who sows seeds into the ground, right? There's a germination process or a growth process.
Right.
There's nothing you can do about it. And you may want to race and rush for the vegetation to be sprouted, right? And for you to reap a harvest, but there's a period of time and there's nothing you can do about it. And so in seasons in life, you have to learn how to be patient.
I'm learning that right now with the garden, the fact that, and I've been reading up on it because I'm trying to grow this amazing garden and realizing every different seed that I have has a different process for its growth. Some of them grow and thrive in the shade. Some of them thrive in this direct sun. Some of them just need sunlight, right? And then there's the watering part and the type of soil that it needs. And then there's the amount of hours it needs in the sun versus shade. Then there's the amount of days that it takes for each seed to break forth from the ground. So imagine getting mad at the seed.
But isn't that what we do, Danielle? we get mad at the seed, we get mad at the season, we get mad at the weather, we get mad at God, we get mad at the dirt.
Mad at the sun. Hurry up, sun. Make this thing come through the dirt. Like, there's a process. You just didn't understand it. And that's the thing. You just didn't understand that there was a process already in play, already fully mapped out. All you need to do is be patient and see how that thing unfolds.
And I think what happens is we point our finger at everything, not realizing that we're the one who needs to make the shift and the adjustment. And this is just a perfect indication that you are not in control. And you're so used to being in the driver's seat and getting things your way. And the fact that you have to be in the back seat with your seatbelt on and you're not in control. And Danielle, let's talk about that, because that's one of the biggest struggles that a betrayed spouse has. Because when the affair happened, they lost their sense of control. It seems like their life has spiraled out of control. In an attempt to get their control back, they try to control every situation, every single thing, every single person in their world, and they get frustrated because they're not able to successfully do it. And so it's a humbling experience, no matter what side of the betrayal you're on, that, listen, we need something and someone bigger and better than ourselves to help us get through this thing. And so it's going to require significant patience. Two more types. Spiritual definition: the ability to trust the process of life and maintain faith, especially during periods of trial or suffering, knowing that things will resolve in due time. That's a serious, trusting the process.
Trust the process. Even if you don't know it, knowing that there is a process. This is a lesson that I'm actually in right now inside of Unearth. And it's just helping us to understand that there is a perfect timing. There is a such thing as perfect timing. Even when you don't understand the process, what you need to do is look to the past, look in your rear view mirror and think about all the other things that you've gone through that you didn't think you'd make it through, that you felt like you were doing a blind trust walk. And that is the evidence to help you in the journey that you're in right now. He has not failed you yet, right? And so knowing that, okay, there is a process. I don't know exactly what it is, but I know that I'm in my process. Let me go to someone who can guide me, who's been there, who's maybe a few steps ahead of me, because I've never been in these troubled waters before. This is new territory for me. It's new for you, but it's not new for everybody else. Some other people have already treaded through that wretched territory that you're experiencing right now. Whatever it is in your life, other people have gone through it. They know the way. And so sometimes you need to step out of what has always worked for you, because what is happening right now, everything that you've been pulling out of your toolkit isn't working right now. And sometimes you need to go to somebody who knows the way.
Brilliantly said. Brilliantly said. The final definition is the cognitive definition. It is the mental ability to delay gratification, exercise restraint, and make thoughtful decisions without rushing or reacting impulsively. Going back to that word being impulsive and hasty and right now. But I love what it says. It says making thoughtful decisions, right? Thinking through the decisions. And I think that oftentimes we get trapped in these thought patterns that don't serve us, and we have erroneous ways of thinking, and we have to break that pattern. And sometimes the way that you break that pattern is inviting other people into the conversation, into the situation, to give you a different perspective, and sometimes adopting a different philosophy that will serve you in that season.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do know that they have, crazy thinking right now. Like their mind is just all over the place. They cannot grasp a thought. They're here, they're there, they're everywhere. And you really can't make a decision. As Hasani said earlier, you can't make any real solid quality decisions when you're in that state. You have to have right thinking. And so you want to get to the place where you have right thinking. That comes through support, that comes through counseling and talking it out and doing all the things to get your mind right. But don't stay in indecision too long either. See, that's the thing. I think when you stay in that crazy making state and everything is all over the place and you just don't know and you don't do anything about it, right? You don't go call on any help, then you end up staying too long in that state and you're just stuck. You don't want that either. So you want to find a way to get in touch with somebody who can help you as soon as possible to get your thinking right so that you can make a solid, grounded decision.
Guys, we're talking about love and how love is patient. Now, I want you to sit down with your partner. I want you to watch this video together, take notes, and talk about where are we as a couple doing well, where are we falling short, what can we do to take this lesson and make it practical in our lives and in our marriage to take our relationship to the next level. We're in our 28-day love challenge. Make sure you sign up and register. It's going to be amazing. We appreciate you for tuning in. And tomorrow we're going to hit the next component of love. So make sure you show up. Take care, guys.